Okay. I said I would record in the morning, and it is the morning. It is 11:59 a.m. Um, yeah. So, what are the plans for today? I'm gonna have to pause in a second. Literally the only reason I started right now is so I could say I started in the morning. But I still have to go do something real quick. My dog is freaking out in my room. Um, so I'll plan out what I want to do today, and then I'll be back and we'll do it. So also either I'm ending or I'm taking a break at 4 p.m. because Texas versus Clemson for college football is on. So I want to watch that. And right now the Penn State game is starting, which seemed interesting. I watched them play against I forget who their last game of the regular season. I watched them play, and they looked good. That's the only reason why I was slightly interested in the game today. Um, but yeah. So so the idea for today is uh, I forgot to do this, but I'll whatever. It doesn't really matter. Number 22. Oh, I forgot. Today is day 22. Um, so again, one or two leak codes. That is usually nice. And then start making the visualizer app, probably looking into Docker first. Right. Um, yeah. So idea, another one to two leak codes. So I think like two medium tree questions are up next. And then from that we'll have I mean, I guess just looking over Docker, understanding what Docker is, how to use Docker, and then setting up Docker, and then setting up like the main visual. It'd be really nice. Um, and possibly setting up the main chat box and visual sandbox. So um, so like the idea there would be making a chat box that hooks up to an API. Well, not the Chat GPT API that we had hooked up, hooking that up so that you can send something as content to it with its already predefined parameters, and then getting the response and getting it to display in that kind of um, sandbox of sorts. So, and that shouldn't be a lot. I mean, literally, what I can do is just set the background to a dark background, make a right hand and a left hand portion of the screen. Left hand is like 400 pixels wide. Insert a text box that has a little button inside of it to send. Hook that up to the API, right? And then whatever is typed in that text box gets sent to the API. Then whenever we get back, we want to display in like a text area over on the side. It should be that simple. Um, so I think Docker is going to be the thing that takes up most of the time. And then if I can get that really basic part of the application done, that'll that'll be really nice. So yeah, I will be back for LeetCode, and again, no time for you. And yeah, be right back. All right, I'm back with new lights. Ooh, fancy. Those other ones looked fucking terrible. So I decided I had to change it. And I was also watching this. I forgot to change my tab. Um, yeah. So we were doing what? LeetCode. Cheers. We are doing LeetCode, and yeah, whatever. We're doing LeetCode. roadmap. I kind of want to put on some music one sec. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, tree. Oh my god, wait. This is new, isn't it? Maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. Is this not like new stuff over here? I remember there being tries and backtracking and graphs and heaps. I don't remember any of this though. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. You're given the root of a binary tree. Return only the values of the node that are visible from the right side of the tree. 1, 3. 3 and 7. Okay. I mean, on a depth first search of recursion, you're simply like when you do that recursive thing on the right, and you go right. All I want to do is track that, right? So what would that be? That would be. So we can have a right side equal to this. Is this not just def track right passing through a node? Saying if the node is none, return, otherwise current equals node dot value left equals. Actually, I never even have to touch left. Right equals node dot right. Right, and I want to say if right is not none, track right given right. But I also on every single one I want to do right side dot append her. Am I tripping? Is this not just like what you do? Track right given the root, return right side. Right, I pass it through. I first want to actually append the top. Well, I can do this, but I want this to be actually right is what I'm appending. Right, and then I want on this call it does this. Or I mean I guess I can just say like before I do this I just do right side dot append root dot val. And then I call this and then I go through. It's not just what it is. Oh, none type. I guess I could do this then, right? Before I call into this recursive, I do that. Oh. Oh, edge case. What? Oh. If root dot val is not none. Or I guess I can just do if root. Huh? Why would this be the output? Would this not be a 1, 2? That'd be the left side now. Wait, why? Huh? You were given everybody return only the values that are visible from the right side. Okay, yeah, that makes it a little more complex. Yeah, that makes that a lot more complex. Okay. So what this has to be now, right? Because if we look at this and we go to TL draw, it should be something like, given this, given this, let's say this extended here with like a 4. Actually, and then if this like extended here with a 5 and extended here with like a 7, I'm pretty sure this would be a 1, 3, 4, 7. Right? Actually, you know what we could do? We could do the level thing again, in which we just look at each level, right? But instead of returning the entire array of levels, we only return the very rightmost value. Ooh, that actually could be like really good. Roadmap. Just so I'm not rewriting this. But like, so actually what I can do is he had a much better solution here last time. So I can just rip this right now, right? And so instead of just returning res, I want to just take the last value at each point. So like for index, I can get rid of this for now. So for index in range of the length of res. So at this point, res is fully fleshed out, right? And I want to take I guess I could do final res. Whatever, right? And I say, okay, for each index in here, I want to take the length minus 1. Final res dot append res at index, right? And then the length of res at that index minus 1. Right? If it's I don't know actually. What's wrong here? Unsupported types for listed in. Well, I want it to be here. Let's make this a little simpler. So I want to append the last element at the index in there, right? Actually, how would I do this? Okay, let's say the length was. Or is it at? Okay, if in the first level this will be 1, right? So this is index 0. So if the length is 1, then minus 1, and then we're at 0, right? So I just want to do. I want um, res at the index, right? So this should be that array. And then I just want the length. I want the element at. So this is a 2D array, correct? Oh, maybe this isn't actually. I don't think this is res at depth that appends. What was this returning again? Was it a 2D array? It was a 2D array. Okay. I was gonna say res at depth dot append this, and then it's doing this. So it's a 2D array. So I want res at whatever index, and then I want. I mean, I think it's I want the res at index, right? 0. The length of this minus 1. Is that not how this works? Right value and then append right value. Oh, it went through. 1 3. Okay, yeah, nice. That's what I wanted. So final res. Oh my god, that was good. How fast did I do that? That was fast. Wow. That was genius to do that. Yeah, I mean, I misunderstood the question at first. I thought it was literally just take the right side, but it's what is viewed from the right side. I think actually something I shouldn't gloss over is a lot of times I do misread the questions, like more than I really should. So I think that's something I need to work on, is reading it a lot better. Because the one technical interview I have had in my life, I failed because I read it wrong. So, um, but yeah, this was really smart to just do the same thing as where I just store every single level, and then I just take the rightmost because that's going to be what is viewed on that level from the right. So yeah, I wonder if he did the exact same thing. I would not be surprised if this is the exact same thing. He does res again, passes through node and depth again. If not node, return this. If depth equals this. If depth is equal to the length of res. Yeah. Res dot append the value. Interesting. Ah. Ah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Epilepsy, bruh. Okay, whatever. That's pretty good. Count good nodes in binary tree. Within a binary tree, a node X is considered good if the path from the root of the tree to node X contains no nodes with a value greater than the value of X. Okay. Given the root of a binary tree root, return the number of good nodes within the tree. So like 2 to 3 is good. 2 to 5 is good. 2 to 1 isn't. Whoa, 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 whoa. 3. The value greater. Whoa, wait, 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 wait. Within a binary tree, a node X, so let's say 3, is considered a good path. Is considered good if the path from the root of the tree to node X contains no nodes with a value greater than the value of node X. Okay. So itself, the root itself is always going to be 1. Interesting. So 1 to 2 is good, 1 to 2 to 3 is good, 1 to 2 to 4 is good, 1 to -1 isn't. So we're saying that we're including the root every time. So we want num of good equals 0. And right off the bat, I want to say if root is none, return 0. Otherwise, let's define a check nodes function. For now, I'll just put node as the argument. If node is none, then we want to just return num of good. Okay. So what's the idea here? The idea here is that if actually checking this, maybe I don't need to do this, but I would say num of good equals 1. We're assuming the root is always a good path. Interesting. So we're gonna say, we're gonna call recursively, or I guess what we want to do is we want to say, okay, it has to be something where we're tracking again, right? Where we are tracking a path. All we really have to do here is every single time we call recursively, we just have to also pass through. Is it just the previous value? Like if I pass through 2 here, right, and it's 1. And so it's like, okay, this is greater than that, right? But this is greater than that. If this was 1 again, I think we only have to look at... I guess we want to do the full thing, right? So it's going to be like a tracked route. Right? I'm just trying to think in the situation, because this would be a lot easier if I only have to remember the last one. But let's say like this is 2, and then this is 3, and then this is 2. No, but then that would invalidate the path. But like this is 3, 4, and then it goes back to... No, it has to. So we only need to know the last one. Okay. I'll be right back. I need to use the bathroom. But I think you only need to remember the last one. I'm back. As I was gone, I was thinking about it. And my approach wouldn't work because, let's say, Um, let's say for instance, I guess I never. Whoop, whoop. Copy this, paste this. Zoop. Okay. Because okay, let's say I'm right here, right, and I'm tracking the value of 2, right, and I'm like, okay, um, so I'm comparing 2. Oh, nope, this is smaller than it's not valid. So now I track the value of 1 when going to like 5, right? And it's like, oh, 5 is bigger than 1. That's good. But what happens, right, when we come off here and we have like, um, well, what was I gonna say? There was something in my head that made this invalid. It was, oh yeah, if we went down to like 3, right? And so we're at 5, or I guess over here, I'm at 5, right? And I say, oh, that's invalid, right? And then I go down to something like 4, but I'm only taking 3. Oh, this is valid. No, it's not, because this is bigger, right? So that doesn't work. So I also thought of a solution to this. Instead of only taking the last value, I take the max value between the max and the current value. So what I'm trying to say is that it's like, okay, I'm at 2, right? I guess, oh, please tell me I can go forward. Can I go forward? No, I can't. Okay. But anyways, we look at 2 and look at 1. And we're like, okay, what is the max between 2 and 1? Obviously, it's 2, right? So we're at 2. We come to 5. We're like, okay, what's the max between... And also, we do a valid check, right? First, we do a validity check to see if it's a good node. If it's not, then we're like, okay, let's do... Well, we're always going to do the max comparison. But we do the max comparison here, right? And it's like, okay, this is 5, right? Now we come here to 4, right? And we do a 4 to 5 comparison, right? And we're still at 5, and this is no longer valid. Now we go and we look at the 3, and we do a 3 to 5, right? Now this works in where it's saying, hey, you cannot get back to the root node because there's a 5 back here. There's a larger value. Right? So if we just keep track, so like even like here, whatever, it's 2 and then it's 1, you compare it, whatever. Because as long as we just look at the maximum value further, if we ever beat the maximum value that we've gone through in the path, then obviously this one's going to be valid. So, so yeah. So, what does the logic look like in actually coding this out? I think it's, so given the node, right? We say, okay, I'm actually thinking, wait, given the first node, I only want to check if that's none, else I kind of just want to say right equals node dot right and left equals node dot left, right? And then I'm saying if left is not none, right? Then what do we want to do? We're going left and we want to say, okay, if left is greater than, would it be left dot value? Left dot value, if that is greater than, oh, this is what I have to do. Oh, well, actually, I want to check the max given left. Compare equals the max between left and max value. Right? max value is going to go forward as the root node at first. So when I end up calling this for the first time, this is going to be check nodes passing through root in root.val. Right? And so compare is going to be the maximum between this. So if the left.value is greater than, and I guess this would be the dot val, right? Compare, right? If it's greater than compare, or I guess, wait, if I'm saying the left.value, if this ends up being left.value, I need to compare it to something else, don't I? What was I doing here? I was comparing this to the max value. So the max value at first is 2. And so if I go here and this is 2, this is just weird because let's say this is 3, right? This left value is 3. And I say, okay, the max between this, okay, is left.val bigger than the compare? But it needs to be the previous max value. Oh, yeah. It needs to be the previous max value. Oh, it just needs to be max value. That's just what we're passing in. I just have to say, okay, is this bigger than the left max value? If so, then num of good is going to get incremented by 1, right? And we're going to call check nodes with left and left.val, right? Oh, right? Because now, so we increment it, and then we're going to now say, okay, we're going to recursively call this with the left node and the value as our new max. Else, if it's not that, right, then we want to just do check nodes passing through left and just still the max value. Otherwise, we do the same thing for right. Right, if right is none, then right, if right.val is bigger than the max value, then this right.val, else pass through right and max val. And then return num of good. So let's just look at this. So ideally what happens first, like in this example, is 2 is passed through in the value of 2, right? And we say, okay. Well, first off, we're already at 1, right? So that's 1. Then we go through and we say, okay, right is equal to this, left is equal to this. If left is none, which is not none, then if left is greater than, which it's not, so we're going to go to the else, we're going to recall this on the left value. So we're going to go through and we're going to say right equals this, left equals that. And then we're going to say, so there is no right. So we'll say again, if left is greater than the max value is 2, right? So max value is 2. We recall this with 2. With 3, sorry. We increment this and then with 3, and then it comes through and both are none. So it's just nothing happens. On the other side of this, we pass through 1, that fails. Then we go through again, right? If left is not none, which is not, is it greater than the max value? Well, max value is still 2, so no. So we go to else and then we call it again. Then it goes through. There's none. Okay. I think this is good. Cannot access local view num of good where it is not associated with a value. Where was that? What? I don't get this error. Is this another like I have to make it like local? Don't fix any logic in my code. Just why is this variable not able to update? It's got to be with a non-local or global thing. Non-local num of good. Yup. Okay, that worked. Why didn't this work? 2. I can close this for now. Actually, I'm gonna reopen it because I want to draw this out. Oh, wanted that. So we have 3, 3, 4, 2. So this obviously returns 1. This shouldn't return anything. And this should return 1. Can it also be equal? It can also be equal. Of course, it can also be equal. Why could it also be equal? What? How is this ever? What? Is good if the path from root of the tree to x contains no nodes with a value greater than x. So it can be equal to. Okay. So if this value is greater than or equal to. I'm so good. I'm so good. Oh my god. That was literally 2 fucking medium LeetCodes in less than half an hour. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm really starting to understand this stuff, like, really well. I swear, though, those easy ones were harder than these mediums. These mediums are so fucking easy. They're so fucking easy. Sick. Should turn this down a little. Yeah, I wonder what the solution here was. If not, no, return 0. Result equals 1 if there is a value. That's what I did. Max value is the max between the max val and the node.val. Okay, it's the same idea, just a little more compact. And yeah, I mean, it's literally the same idea of setting it to 1 if the first node is not 0, and then setting the max between a max. That's actually crazy. Use the same variable name. That's funny. Oh, most asked question in 2021. Wow. And it was an easy ass question. Okay. Yeah, okay. Nice. That's all I want to get through for LeetCode, so we can move on to the project, which is going to be a lot less satisfying, I think, because that was really nice. Actually, I'm gonna check the score on that. I mean, I guess we can look. What is it? SMU versus Penn State score. Bro, I literally in like the chat of where I was watching this, the chat was like Penn State looks fucking horrible today, like 4 minutes in. Yikes. Yeah, that is not good. Wow. Second and goal at SMU 1. Wait, I'm gonna watch that real quick. I'm back. Yeah, let's get started with a Docker. Not what I wanted. I wanted getting started with Docker. So I mean, I already have Docker installed. I have Docker desktop. I'm gonna check that DM real quick. I'm back. Docker. Okay. Containers are lightweight and contain everything needed to run an application, so you don't need to rely on what's installed on the host. Yup. Oh, Docker uses a client-server architecture. I think I'm gonna do a YouTube video of this. How to use Docker.
One of the leading causes of imposter syndrome among developers is not knowing Docker. It makes it hard to go to parties where everybody's talking about Kubernetes, swarms, shuffle sharding, while you hide in the corner Googling what is a container. We've all been there at one point or another. In today's video, you'll learn everything you need to know about Docker to survive as a developer in 2020. We'll take a hands-on approach by containerizing a Node.js application. I'll assume you've never touched a Docker container before, so we'll go through installation and tooling, as well as the most important instructions in a Docker file. In addition, we'll look at very important advanced concepts like port forwarding, volumes, and how to manage multiple containers with Docker Compose. We'll do everything step by step, so feel free to skip ahead with the chapters in the video description. What is Docker? From a practical standpoint, it's just a way to package software so it can run on any hardware. Now, in order to understand how that process works, there are three things that you absolutely must know: Docker files, images, and containers. A Docker file is a blueprint for building a Docker image. A Docker image is a template for running Docker containers. A container is just a running process. In our case, we have a Node application. We need to have a server that's running the same version of Node and that has also installed these dependencies. It works on my machine, but if someone else with a different machine tries to run it with a different version of Node, it might break. The whole point of Docker is to solve problems like this by reproducing environments. The developer who creates the software can define the environment with a Docker file. Then any developer at that point can use the Docker file to rebuild the environment, which is saved as an immutable snapshot known as an image. Images can be uploaded to the cloud in both public and private registries. Then any developer or server that wants to run that software can pull the image down to create a container, which is just a running process of that image. In other words, one image file can be used to spawn the same process multiple times in multiple places. And it's at that point where tools like Kubernetes and Swarm come into play to scale containers to an infinite workload. The best way to really learn Docker is to use it. And to use it, we need to install it. If you're on Mac or Windows, I would highly recommend installing the Docker desktop application. It installs everything you need for the command line and also gives you a GUI where you can inspect your running containers. Once installed, you should have access to Docker from the command line. And here's the first command you should memorize: Docker ps, which gives you a list of all the running containers on your system. You'll notice how every container has...
I wonder if I have any. Docker PS. I have one created 8 weeks ago.
Has a unique ID and is also linked to an image. And keep in mind you can find the same information from the GUI as well. Now the other thing you'll want to install is the Docker extension for VS Code or for your IDE. This will give you language support when you write your Docker files and can also link up to remote registries and a bunch of other stuff. Now that we have Docker installed, we can move on to what is probably the most important section of this video. And that's the Docker file, which contains code to build your Docker image and ultimately run your app as a container. Now, to follow along at this point, you can grab my source code from GitHub or Fireship.io, or better yet, use your own application as a starting point. In this case, I just have a single index.js file that exposes an API endpoint that sends back a response, Docker is easy. Then we expose our app using the port environment variable, and that'll come into play later. The question we're faced with now is, how do we Dockerize this app? We'll start by creating a Docker file in the root of the project. The first instruction in our Docker file is from, and if you hover over it, it will give you some documentation about what it does. You could start from scratch with nothing but the Docker runtime. However, most Docker files will start with a specific base image. For example, when I type Ubuntu, you'll notice it's underlined, and when I control-click it, it will take me to all of the base images for this flavor of Linux. And then you'll notice it supports a variety of different tags, which are just different variations on this base image. Ubuntu doesn't have Node.js installed by default. We could still use this image and install Node.js manually, however, there is a better option, and that's to use the officially supported Node.js image. We'll go ahead and use the Node version 12 base image, which will give us everything we need to start working with Node in this environment. The next thing we'll want to do is add our app source code to the image. The working directory instruction is kind of like when you cd into a directory. Now, any subsequent instructions in our Docker file will start from this app directory. Now, at this point, there is something very important that you need to understand, and that's that every instruction in this Docker file is considered its own step or layer. In order to keep things efficient, Docker will attempt to cache layers if nothing is actually changed. Now, normally, when you're working on a Node project, you get your source code and then you install your dependencies. But in Docker, we actually want to install our dependencies first so they can be cached. In other words, we don't want to have to reinstall all of our Node modules every time we change our app source code. We use the copy instruction, which takes two arguments. The first argument is our local package.json location, and then the second argument is the place we want to copy it in the container, which is the current working directory. And now that we have a package.json, we can run the npm install command. This is just like opening a terminal session and running a command. And when it's finished, the results will be committed to the Docker image as a layer. Now that we have our modules in the image, we can then copy over our source code, which we'll do by copying over all of our local files to the current working directory. But this actually creates a problem for us, because you'll notice that we have a node modules folder here in our local file system that would also be copied over to the image and override the node modules that we install there. What we need is some kind of way for Docker to ignore our local node modules. We can do that by creating a Docker ignore file and adding node modules to it. It works just like a gitignore file, which you've probably seen before. Okay, so at this point, we have our source code in the Docker image, but in order to run our code, we're using an environment variable. We can set that environment variable in the container using the env instruction. Now, when we actually have a running container, we also want it to be listening on port 8080, so we can access the Node.js Express app publicly. And we'll look at ports in more detail in just a minute when we run the container. And that brings us to our final instruction, command. There can only be one of these per Docker file, and it tells the container how to run the actual application, which it does by starting a process to serve the Express app. You'll also notice that unlike run, we've made this command an array of strings. This is known as exec form, and it's the preferred way to do things. Unlike a regular command, it doesn't start up a shell session. And that's basically all there is to it. We now have a full set of instructions for building a Docker.
So if I get it right, a Docker is basically, right, you have a Docker file, and the Docker file makes a Docker image of everything. So ideally, if someone were to like go into my GitHub, they would want to run the Docker image, right? Because the whole thing is, it's like, if you were to download these files, or you were to, I mean, I guess it is, if you were to download the files, then it would be like, if you had Node version 20.8, but I was running off. See, my only problem here is, it's like, so if you did like an npm install right when you got the app, and beforehand you had Node 20.8, but in the actual package.json it was like 19.8, wouldn't it overwrite and make that version in the current directory, or no? Let me ask. Let me ask. So what is the point of Docker? I thought if, for instance, you took code off GitHub, then ran npm I, it would just rewrite all package versions for that directory. Docker ensures that your application runs in the same environment across all stages. If you clone a product, you depend on the environment setup. Node.js kind of Docker abstracts these details by packaging everything to a container. Specified for it does so on your local system. If your system differs, the code might not run. Yeah, I thought it, but I thought it over. Maybe not. Okay. It's just npmi doesn't 100% guarantee
Docker
it.
image. And that brings us to the next question. How
The
do we build a
image.
Docker image? You build a Docker image by running the docker build command. There's a lot of different options you can pass with the command, but the one you want to know for right now is tag, or T. This will give your image a name tag that's easy to remember so you can access it later. When defining the tag name, I'd first recommend setting up a username on Docker Hub, and then do that username followed by whatever you want to call this image. So in my case, it would be fireship/demo app. And you could also add a...
Do I have a name on? I don't. I'm gonna sign in with okay. I'm gonna have to like clear my cache, right? No, wait, it's my cookies. Huh? Jesus. Bro, is it not like session storage is also I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
version number separated by a colon. From there, you simply add the path to your Docker file, which in our case is just a period for the current working directory. When we run it, you'll notice it starts with step 1, which is to pull the node 12 image remotely. Then it goes through each step in our Docker file, and finally it says successfully built the image ID. And now that we have this image, we can use it as a base image to create other images, or we can use it to run containers. In real life, to use this image, you'll most likely push it to a container registry somewhere. That might be Docker Hub or your favorite cloud provider. And the command you would use to do that is docker push. Then a developer or server somewhere else in the world could use docker pull. Let's do that with the docker run command. We can supply it with the image ID or the tag name. And all that does is create a running process called a container, and we can see in the terminal it should say app listening on localhost 8080. But if we open the browser and go to that address, we don't see anything. So why can't I access my container locally? Remember, we exposed port 8080 in our Docker file, but by default, it's not accessible to the outside world. Let's refactor our command to use the p flag to implement port forwarding from the Docker container to our local machine. On the left side, we'll map a port on our local machine, 5000 in this case, to a port on the Docker container, 8080 on the right side. And now if we open the browser and go to localhost 5000, we'll see the app running there. Now, one thing to keep in mind at this point is that the Docker container will still be running even after you close the terminal window. Let's go ahead and open up the dashboard and stop the container. You should actually have 2 running containers here if you've been following along. When you stop the container, any state or data that you created inside of it will be lost. But there can be situations where you want to share data across multiple containers, and the preferred way to do that is with volumes. A volume is just a dedicated folder on the host machine, and inside this folder, a container can create files that can be remounted into future containers or multiple containers at the same time. To create a volume, we can mount it somewhere in our container when we run it, multiple at the same time. We already have a Docker file for our Node app, but let's imagine that our Node app also needs to access a MySQL database. And we also likely want a volume to persist the database across multiple containers. We can manage all that with Docker Compose by creating a docker-compose.yaml file in the root of our project. Inside that file, we have a services object where each key in that object represents a different container that we want to run. We'll use web to define our Node.js app that we've already built, and then we'll use build to point it to the current working directory, which is where it can find the Docker file. And then we'll also define the port forwarding configuration here as well. Then we have a separate container called DB, which is our MySQL database process. After services, we'll also define a volume to store the database data across multiple containers. And then we can...
That's cool. I need to check this DM real quick, then we'll get started. Okay, I'm back. My God, my hair, bro. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, we can set this up, right? Let's CD into, what was it? OneDrive, desktop, code. And then I had my code visualizer, NeoVim. And so what? I said I was going to do this in, oh yeah, do I want to do HTMX? I don't think so. Didn't mean to open that. I don't think so. I think I just want to go with regular JavaScript here. And then if anyone was actually watching my web programming class and what we were building, I think I'm just going to replicate what we were doing kind of there, because it seemed really nice to just have like HTML with a root, and then we define a kind of controller of views, and then we just render views based on what we call for navigation. And then we just render inner HTML blocks with returning like a container. So I think that's what I'll go with. I think I set up Docker at the end, actually. What it looks like is it's like once I have the application, right? Then I make all the Docker stuff, right? I define everything that needs to be installed, everything that needs to be containerized, and then I get that image and I put it on to like AWS or something like that. That's what it seems like I need to do. So yeah, so I don't have to worry about that right now. Yeah, okay. So there's quite a few things. I think I'm actually gonna do desktop code visualizer. So right now I have this, which I'll keep there for now, but I need to add a lot of stuff. It's gonna be easier just to do it right here. So obviously I want my index.html. I want a main.js. I want Actually, outside of that, I kind of want a new folder app testing visuals. I'll just say I have utils, and I'll put testing visuals in that. Inside app though, we want sort of like um a view, like a view manager. I guess this could be not components, but um like this could be main, and then inside of main we have the view manager.js, and we have our um base.js. Okay. And then I need my components. Inside here we'll have our main. Well, inside here actually we should have the folder for a component, and in this component this will be the main page, and main page will have, I'm literally just going to call it main page.js. Oh, that's a folder I want. Main page.js, and I want my main page.css. I think that's good. I think that's all I need for now. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. So obviously to start out, what I can also do is look back at uh what did I have? Actually, it'll be easier for me to do cd downloads, cd, was it? Yeah. And then I can launch NeoVim from here. And so what I wanted was not front end. Oh yeah, I should actually do that. Never mind. I should actually I should actually have my client, which will be this client and server. Which server is gonna, for now, I'll just do a server.js. Okay. Um, Front end assets, front end main. HTML. That's what I wanted. Okay. Give me this. Oh yeah, sorry. Give me this. And then I should get a better name for this, but fonts, don't care about you. I do need an index, or maybe I don't. Okay, that should be good. Uh, I need to go check out my dog real quick. I'm back. I'm sorry. Um, where were we? I think we were just setting up this. So the idea here is that um we have this. We have HTML, which is pointing to main.js. So I kind of also want to just rip this main.js, just in a way. Well, actually, the main.js in here that I did before is getting we get the root and then we're doing an instance of the app controller because the app controller is rendering our views, is what was happening here at least. So yes, I can yank this and just go in here and do this, but this is no longer an app controller. I had this as like um as a view manager. And this is from, I think it's main, no, app main view manager. I need to check that DM real quick. So view manager, yank this, paste, get element by ID app. I'm pretty sure we have, oh, I should save this before I, let me free, bruh. Thank you. Oh my God. And then I wanted to just look at HTML. Yeah, okay, ID app. We're good. Fuck. Um, view manager is get root container. Why am I doing that? Shouldn't this just be the main content is equal to get element, and then this will be const view controller is equal to, I mean, I can do this is equal to view manager dot get an instance of that. Const. Wait, I'm a little confused here. Const app controller. Const app controller equals this. Equals app controller. App container. So where do we do app container again? App container dot append the app content. I see. Okay, so this is going to be main content, or this should actually be main container. And then we have this. This instead of, I'll call this the main content. Create the container, and then this is going to be the main container.append child to the main content. Well, appending main content. So main container is equal to our app. View manager is equal to an instance of our view manager, and then we create the main content, which calls to not app controller, but the view manager, which is the instance of this. So we await and we get whatever it wants, and then we say, okay, we are going to append this to main content. Okay, that's good. Good. You know how I said I said that I whoa. Lock. Okay. I said that I was going to get done like the full screen in like the chat box. I might not get to that today. apologies. Um, I just want to say that right now. Okay, maybe I do get to it, maybe I don't, but I want to eat, and I'm watching this Texas versus Clemson game, so just letting you know. Okay, up next, we actually want to make this view manager, right? Um, so this is going to be actually, actually, I should flesh out this because I want the base component from here, which this is going to be export class base constructor load CSS. I don't actually care about this whole load CSS stuff. I won't lie. I really just care about making sure that there is. Sorry, Dad walked in. So this basically just says that if I extend every single class from or every single component by the base by base, right? It has to have a render component, right? We have to have a render component, and that render component is returning a container of HTML to the view manager, and then the view manager is going to take that container and append it if that is what we want to view, right? Um, I think it's a really nice way of doing everything. Um, and just handling stuff. And so the method that I had in the other app was like a load CSS and was making sure that like, you didn't double load. I don't really care about it. I can literally just do a link to the CSS and that should be good enough. So this is all I care about for this. So now I want to go to View Manager. Again, this, oh, okay, then why? Where the fuck is the app controller? Oh my God. I don't know why this would not just be popping up right now. Okay. Um, so obviously I don't need all of this. I don't need to import any of this right now. This is a view manager. Container, current view. I don't care about the navigation. Views is fine. That should all be fine. I only want one thing for now, and this will just be main. New. What do I have it as? Whoa. Not that. Sorry. This. Main page. So actually, that's what I want to do. Is I want to. Yo. Oh. Okay. Um. What is this? This is an import. Uh. Just import that from yeah. Okay. Import main page from components main page .js, and then I can do main page this current view is this dot views dot main. Okay. So this is the render method. I don't need ID for now. Div app control. Don't need this. Don't need this. So this comes through as a sync function render. If we don't already have the container, this container is equal to div. This is view manager. View container. Yeah, that's fine. Content is, what is content? Render current view. Also, I should just put this into here. Why am I getting no syntax? Okay, whatever. So weird. What was content here? Content equals this current view dot render. I think that's all I want to do is I just want to do a this dot current view dot render. Right? I think anyways. I know if I go back if I go way back in here, right, and I browse files. Thank you. Took forever. Front end, main, app controller. No, still too recent. Okay, maybe like let's browse from here. Yeah, pretty much this is all I want. Yeah, I'll just delete this and then see. I had this as an async function, which I still think I kind of want as a sync function. But this is the view manager class that I want to make, and then I do just I clear any content that was there, and then I append container dot append child the current view, and then I return the container. Okay, that's better. Navigate also, all I need is this, I'm pretty sure. Okay, that's the same, but This should also be a sync. So all this is doing is it's saying, okay, if um if the current view at the view name doesn't exist, we say, okay, this view doesn't exist, right, from these views up here. And so I don't want the um yeah, okay. This should be good. And so what I'm doing is I'm rendering um I'm rendering main page.js. And so I mean if we look at any of these pages, whoa. Um it's if we look at like the cart. Main components, virtual cart. So I know that I had this, but this is now base from main and then base.js and then view manager from this. And so we want to do a new class. We want to export class main page extends base. I'm missing the I guess that's it. Right. And then in here, we want our container. Our container is null. And then we want to call our constructor. Super. And then we want our render method outside of this. So super just makes sure that we're doing our render method. And so the render method is going to be, I mean, it can literally just be I think it's like, what's the syntax? It's inner HTML. It is this dot container. Yeah, it's this. It's I want this, and then I can say div um testing. Um and then at the end of this, I think I have to return this dot container, I think. Is this all that happens? Create and then do a class of container. But I'm pretty sure all I have to do is then return this dot container. I'm pretty sure this is all I have to do, to be honest. This should be it. And then obviously I have to close this off. I think this is it though. I do though have to cd into client, and then do an npm. What is it? Is it just npmi? Whoa. Okay. Not what I wanted. I wanted to do though. What was it? What is this up here? Okay. Um, is it an npm init? I don't think so. Maybe it is. Um, Test scripts. That's backend though. Front end package.json. Give me, honestly, version main. Just give me all of that. Client. Um, index.js. Index.js. What? Actually, what do I have as? Oh, damn. Not what I wanted. Yeah, main.js. Well, no, I wanted this still. Okay, well, I should be able to do npm I again. And then I should be able to just do npm start. Um, Cannot set properties of null inner HTML on main page. Um, Wait, where am I right now? Okay. Oh, no, no, I wanted main page. What was so different here? Okay, it did a div and then also did a container. Um, does this just fix it? Nice. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go watch that football game. I think I'll just pause for now. And then either I'll be back and I'm gonna do an outro, or I'll be back and we will continue the app. So I'll see you in just a second and we'll decide. Back. Um, I watched the Longhorns versus Clemson game. Um, Obviously Longhorns ran away with the game. Um, Actually, they kind of almost came back. The Clemson did, but doesn't matter. They lost. So I needed some more Arch Manning in that game, but you know, whatever. Anyways, I ended up doing one thing off screen here, which was I added back in this load CSS because I was looking back and I'm like, I don't need the load CSS. And then I was like, okay, how do I actually? Because I know how in like a default HTML file, right? How to load CSS. But this is the only way I've ever been taught in this kind of modular way, how to load CSS. And so I literally thought I could just like do at the top of this inner HTML, maybe like a link or something. But then I'm like, but then that wasn't what it said you did, and so it's just easier to do this whole. Um, I mean, if we go and we look at whoa, fuck, base component, right? I have a function here which takes in an argument and then it just makes an element link and then it just appends link to the document head. So I could I could do the same thing uh, in each file, but if I'm gonna have multiple components, this just makes it so much easier. Um, so yeah. Um, what else? What else could we do? I already have it set up. I guess. So what would main page? What are we looking for? We're looking for two sections, right? We're looking for two sections here. We're looking for. So I have main container. I kind of want a div class um equals like left side, right? And then a div class right side. And so on my left side is going to be the actual chat box. So we need I mean, I'd say it's a text area, right? I would say we have a text area. And then we'll also have well, it's going to be a submit a div class submit request, right? And so it's going to have a text area. Um, I wanted to do kind of what ChatGPT does, but I guess for now I shouldn't worry too much about the actual styling of this, just getting it working. So like what? Is it an input type? What is this? HTML, no, Java, no, it would be HTML input button, input type button. Okay, and it should be this, right? It should be input type equals button, class request send. Right, and then on the right side of things, we're going to have, I mean, for now, it can just be a text area, right? I guess I want to do like an ID here, right? An ID of response. And that's all I really need for now, I think. I mean, I could do like a placeholder, right? Just so I can... What, placeholder equals response will be here. Text area ID equals content. And the placeholder will be equal to enter request here. Right. I'll be right back. I need to use the bathroom real quick. I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so the send button here should be within it. Why is it not? Value. I see. Beautiful. So what I want to do is a few things. So I want to. So is this fine? Is this just now just CSS? Obviously we have to hook up other stuff, but I think I can just go to CSS now. Not that. And so also I wanted chat GPT dark mode color code. Hey, give me that. Nope, don't want you. So the idea is that I have this as a, I didn't control W. I have this as a container, right? I should. Main container, yeah. So I'm pretty sure if I add a flex, like a flex display onto this, right? If I add dot main container And I want to say it's a flex. I've been out of CSS for a while. CSS Flexbox. Oh, not what I want. I don't want to do a quiz. Display flex row. That's what I wanted. Display flex. Was it flex direction? Yeah. Flex row. Does that work? Beautiful. Only other thing is why is it whatever. Doesn't matter actually. Not what I wanted. What I do want is I want to do I want these text area. Sorry. Text area. I want this to be transparent, or background color will be transparent. I also want these to have a border none. That's about it. And then I want on dot actually, did I mess this up? No, I didn't. Okay. Left side should have a border left. Border right, sorry. A border right of 1 pixel solid white. More like gray actually. What else did I want? I think that's about it. But then I also wanted left side to have a height of 100 view height. And dot right side to also have a height of 100 view height. But I also wanted right side to have a width of 100%. And left side, I wanted to have a width of like 300 pixels. Now this doesn't, I still need to deal with these text areas. But for now, this is kind of fine. It's just I want no, I should just do dot left side text area. This should probably be like 200, like the width should be like 250 pixels. And the height should be like 150. Right? and then dot right side text area should be the height, honestly. I guess I can do 90 view height, and then the width. Width, honestly, 100%. See how that looks. Oh, okay. Color white, and then honestly, just make it 100. Fuck it. Perfect. I don't know why. Oh, because I did it. I want this just general text area. I also want text area. Is it focus? Border none. How to remove border outline on text area when in focus. CSS. Oh, it's just one of these. Nope, still there. Text area focus, border none. Right? Outline none. Beautiful. Okay, so now we have to set up so that this send button. Also, why not just do left side dot left side button, or I guess input, right? More so the input is a width of just 100% with a border radius of like 8 pixels. Oh, and I should add like padding of like 5 pixels. Looks a little better. Take off the border. And I guess I could do like a font weight of like bold. Okay. I want there to be on this left side to be a padding left, no, right, sorry, right, of like 20 pixels. That might be a little too much. I want it to match the other side. Yeah, it's a little too much. 10 actually should do. And then I also wanted to do this on the right side as well. I wanted to do a padding left of like 10 pixels. Beautiful. Why does there look like there's like a shadow on that? That's weird. Anyways, I guess I can, if anything, I'll do like a text decoration. None. I don't know if that actually, yeah, it doesn't do anything. Border none, and box shadow none. There we go. Last thing I want to add to this is just a padding top of like 15 pixels. Just a little separation from that. Oh, not padding, sorry, margin. Padding adds to that margin top. Perfect. Okay, last thing I want to set up before I go is what I had beforehand in that utils, which is going to be main page. In main page, I want to, oh, I don't know if I actually have, I think what I want to do is CD into OneDrive, CD into desktop, yeah, CD into code, CD into this, CD into client. Actually, just go back and run NeoVim. And then what I can do here is utils. And so now what I want to do is I want to make it so that, so like obviously I want to take this. Oop. Right? Whoa. I want to do that and then see, this is what I'm actually gonna ask ChatGPT for help on, is can you make it so whatever is put in the input text area is the content, then the right side text area shows the response. I need to go, so so keep the, what was it? The system content, but make the user content dynamic based on what is in the left side text area on send click. Oh wait, can I not just do it all? Send request input equals the value of our content, response, get element by ID response. If there's nothing in input, do that. Value, or the value is processing while we're doing our before we do our try. Wait, can you not do a I mean, this all looks beautiful, this code. can I not use my ENG API key in OS? Oh yeah, true. I see. But this should be working fine in make a visual of a binary tree. Obviously, it's going to get a response of this, which is just due to this. So I'm going to pause it and put in my API key manually and then try this. I got the same error, but I need to stop here anyways, because I need to go do stuff, and I want to just end this video. So, I mean, we got actually decently fucking far with this. We got a very basic look of how I want this to look, where I have over here the text area of a response that we're gonna have to style a lot, and then just like an input over here. Obviously, both need to be, it needs to look a lot prettier, but at its most raw form, this looks not horrible. So, yeah. Honestly, a pretty good day. I mean, again, I want to stop pausing so much because it's like it's like I start recording, and then it's like I do like 30 minutes, and then I leave to go do something. Then I come back, and then I do another 30 minutes, and I leave. And then I'm gone for like 2 hours, and I come back. It's just one of the things is this was supposed to be like deep work, right? When I'm doing these coding videos, it's like I'm supposed to be sat down for like 1 to like 4 hours, just doing, you know, deep work code. Because the idea is that this isn't the only coding I do during the day, right? It's like, this is my undistracted time. So, I want to get better at that. But today was really good. I mean, the LeetCode problems were flawless. I didn't use ChatGPT at all for either of them, and they were both just, you know, we solved them really efficiently. So yeah, I will. We can wrap up by a one or two LeetCodes. Both LeetCodes went amazing. No chat GPT besides some syntax was needed. Solved both in less than a combined 30 mins. Just getting very comfortable with trees. And then for this, got the first bit of code done. There is input and output. Need to set up my API key on the back end before the next video. So I'll do that either in the morning or tonight. I'll set up the, oh my god, I had my fucking camera in the middle of me typing. Sorry. I'll set up my key tonight, and then or in the morning to where it'll actually work this time. And then once I start getting output, we can start messing around with that output, positioning things, trying to chop up, because we get a response as, I don't know, JSON or something like that, or just like a text block, and then I can have it to where we split off the text. The text goes at one point, and the ASCII is like big here, and then I want to start integrating being able to draw over that, being able to like take maybe like a capture, like a screenshot, and then sending it to 4.0. I don't know if you can do screenshots through API, but that's something we'll test out. So yeah, good video. I'll be back tomorrow with the same thing, probably 2 LeetCodes into this. So yeah, bye.